Pandit Tejendra Narayan Majumdar, the legend, the Sarod legend of India. Welcome, Pandit Ji.
Namaskar, welcome.
Vision India Forum welcomes Pandit Tejendra Narayan Majumdar, the veteran classical champion, the legend behind the kind of long lost and kind of almost extinct arts of classical music of India, especially considering we are a nation of 140 crore people now, and hardly few of them are inclined towards that particular greatness about India's culture tradition. The Prime Minister has been created with creating a huge kind of patronizing, and he's somebody who's made it very popular, the art of yoga and Ayurveda. But when it comes to the classical music aspects, there's a lot more that needs to be done. People like Pandit Tejendra Narayan Majumdar ji, and from his generation and much beyond, these legends have been responsible for carrying the flag. They are the flag bearers, the torch bearers of this great part of India's culture and tradition. Pandit Tejendra Narayan Majumdar is created with thousands of lovely performances, solo and with many other artists. He is going to take us through his journey, the journey of the making of this legend called Pandit Tejendra Narayan Majumdar, and the relevance of classical music to India's growth story. Sarod as an instrument, he'll also throw some light upon what Sarod is all about, why it isn't something as famous as a guitar or a tabla like Zakir Hussain has made it, a household name. Uh, then we have people who are great singers that we know. Flute, even Pandit Hilprasad Chaurasia is created greatly with the, the fame. Obviously, it's very closely related to India's culture because Lord Krishna is somebody who is supposed to be the biggest patron of the instrument called flute. Then we have Veena by Saraswati ji, our goddess of knowledge and education. Sarod, where does Sarod stand amidst all this? How it adds to the beauty of music? What is its relevance been in the Adhunik music, especially in the music of the film industry? Tejendra Narayan Majumdar will also take us through his challenges that he has faced globally, the kind of acceptance towards Indian classical music, because he is somebody who's performed across the world. He's performed in more than 50 countries, and then he's performed with more than hundreds and thousands of artists. So Narayan Majumdar ji, somebody who is also created with hosting some great shows now, bringing together all classical musicians on one platform. So Pandit Tejendra Narayan Majumdar, take us through your journey. Take us through the journey of Sarod as an instrument, the relevance of the instrument in today's film industry and everywhere else, and how classical music can be utilized by India as its soft power, as its musical power, because where words fail, music makes all the difference. Over to you, Pandit Tejendra Narayan Majumdar ji.
First of all, I would like to thank Amit ji for taking this wonderful initiative for this propagating our great art. As you know, that Indian classical music is so it's a very old form of music. It has been continuing since thousands of years, right from the Vedic era, and the very few things India are proud and India should be proud of. One of the factors is music. The Indian spiritualism, Indian philosophy, Indian music, Indian art are always being appreciated over the beyond the barrier of the country. All over the world, this beautiful art is being appreciated. But yeah, that's one thing is very correct. What Amiji has told, that in India, the ratio and proportion of the real connoisseurs of this classical music is very nominal with respect to our population. If you want to see, if you want to consider it in that way, all the classical arts of the world are not as popular as the pop art, because pop art is always meant for the popularity. The pop culture is totally different from the classical culture. So Indian classical music, still now I can think, I can say that all over the world, Indian classical music has become so popular. That's why so many musicians are now traveling across the globe. And this responsibility, I believe, are mainly for a couple of great maestro musicians India have ever produced, like Pandit Ravi Shankar, Ustad Ali Khan Sahab, who happens to be my guru, and Ustad Bilayat Khan Sahab, Pandit Nikhil Banerjee, and very few names who have been really responsible for taking this height of this appreciation of our culture. Because in 1950s, I am just going back to 1950s, when Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Ali Khan Sahab, they were invited to perform in US. That time, nobody used to know what is Indian classical music, though the culture had started quite long time back. As you know, that Uday Shankar ji, the first ever the Indian star, Uday Shankar ji was the elder brother of Pandit Ravi Shankar. In 1920s, 1930s, he has become so popular, and he has become the iconic figure of Indian art, Indian dance, who had been able to establish that this kind of art and culture and dance and music could be uh, appreciated by everybody, and it has touched the heart of the
Panditji,
globe.
could you put your mobile, could you put your laptop or mobile on a still position? It's shaking. It's shaking.
Shaking? Just hold on. Yeah, now it's okay.
Yes, it is. It is stable now.
So so that's how actually this art has become very popular in West and even in India. If you consider in 1960s, 70s, 80s, the number of concerts have become much more higher than what used to be in 80s or 90s. But at the same time, I must have to say that we have lost lots of the great maestros of Indian classical music. We have lost Pandit Ravi Shankar, Ustad Ali Ahmad Khan, Ustad Bilayat Khan, Ustad Bismillah Khan, Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, Pandit Jasraj, and before that also Ustad Amir Khan Sahab, Ustad Baregalam Ali Khan Sahab. Those who were the main, the pillars of our classical music. They are not anymore here. But at the same time, I should say that the next generation musicians, they are trying their best to propagate this art, and that's how everywhere, even I could say that it was like 5-10 years back. It used to be only very compartmentalized in two times or three times a year. But nowadays, all over the year, the concerts are on. And at the same time, two times, especially the fall and the spring, these two times, the musicians are busy for visiting the foreign countries, and they have their own concerts. And especially, as you know, that after this pandemic, the 3 years just gone from our lives. So uh, in my personal experience, I can assure that I just came back from US tour of 56 days tour, and people were so crazy to come to the concerts. Even in India, lots
Panditji,
of people were
could you position your mobile? Is it, are you doing it on mobile or on the laptop?
in the laptop.
Why is it moving all the time?
Just hold on, just hold on.
Yeah.
I'm just putting something. I'm just trying to put it something, and on the top of that, I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
put this
Switch
laptop.
off your video, and then probably you can just
Yeah.
stabilize
Just
your
hold on.
laptop. It's
Yeah,
impossible to watch it.
yeah. That's okay.
Yes, please continue.
So, what was your question? I think I have started from the
The current generation is also taking the kind of responsibility forward with respect to propagating classical music.
yeah, yeah. So now what is happening here that there are so many uh, uh, youngsters who have been learning this art. Only the problem is, the possibility of getting the stage, the platform, is very less. So in some cases, a lot of efforts have been done, and from my side, I have started since 2013. I have been organizing a very big festival in the memory of my guru, Sir Samrat Ustad Ali Ahmad Khan Sahab. And this is also a very landmark. This has become very landmark festival, and it's a very popular festival in the country now. All the topmost musicians have taken part. At the same time, we try to promote the youngsters because they need to be promoted properly so that they can carry forward our great art. Not only from my side, a lot of other organizations also have been taking care of this young upcoming rising musicians, and also from the government. But government of India is only not shouldn't be only the uh, organizer who could be able to promote so many musicians like Sangeet Natak Academy, like Ministry of Culture. They are really trying to promote this. But at the same time, a lot of private organizations they have to come forward to promote this. So thank you so much, Amitji, that you have taken this wonderful initiative to,
Panditji,
you
take
know,
us through your journey a little bit about yourself, how you started, and what was your career progression like?
as I was born in a musical family. My father used to be a musician, professional musician. Though he was not a full-fledged classical musician, he was associated with Uday Shankar ji in 1962. He had traversed through the world. But my grandfather was also a musician, so they have decided when I was only at the age of 4 that I should be playing sarod. So I didn't have any idea what is going on because whatever they have taken the decision, I had to obey that. So I started with the vocal lesson, and then it was not very easy to hold the sarod. Sarod is a big instrument, so it was not very easy to hold that instrument at the age of 4. So my grandfather started teaching me mandolin because mandolin was quite small, but at the same time, he would teach me Indian classical music. So a lot of, especially in the right hand movements and some of the things were very close by to Saru. So after taking lots of uh, talim from my grandfather and my father, I was taken to my first guru and the main guru, Ustad Bahadur Khan Sahab, who used to be, that time he used to be very busy. Ustad Bahadur Khan Sahab was the first cousin brother of Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Sahab and nephew of Ustad Alauddin Khan Sahab, who is the uh, main mentor of our Gharana, Maya Senior Gharana. Ustad Alauddin Khan Sahab had taught all the top musicians of our India, like Pandit Ravi Shankar, Ustad Ali Khan Sahab, Ustad Bahadur Khan Sahab, Pandit Nikhil Banerjee, and so on. So that's how actually I have started learning from my Ustad. And 18 years I had been learning from him, but very unfortunate that I have lost him. Only he was only 59 years old. So after 18 years of talim, I just lost my father. My guru was like my father. So and after that, I was uh, taking some lessons from a very learned musician Pandit Ajay Sinha Roy for 2.5 years, and then I was taken by none other than Sir Samrat Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Sahab. And I used to learn from him, and it continued up to 2009. So almost 19 years I had learned from Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Sahab till his passing away. So the journey started like that. As you know, that I belong to a musical family, but at the same time, I had to continue my education. And my family was a very middle class family. So it was very hard to take the decision from my parents' side that I would not be involved in any service, uh, and I'd be taking music as profession. So as a freelance musician, it could have been the reverse. It could have been the worst. But by God's grace and Guru's blessings, whatever I am, I am. And it was a long journey. It was a long struggle. So I always try to keep telling the next generation musicians and who are the students that don't ever don't ever try to uh, give up the wish for getting the great dream for a successful musician. You have to have the patience, because classical music is not like that in 2 years you will come to a reality show and you will be regarded as the one of the finest musician of the society or the industry. So you have to devote a sizable amount of uh, time uh, to achieve something, and then you try, and then definitely you have to have your patience and confidence, and you will definitely shine. So that was the journey, and now since last 38 years I've been touring global for the global tours. I have toured all over the world, almost 54, 55 countries, all the continents, and a lot of good students are coming up who have learned from me. That is also another great responsibility for a good musicians and good guru. We need to have somebody who would be taking care of this art and carrying forward. So I am still trying. I'm still trying, and this instrument has become so popular because right from the beginning, Sarod was. Let me tell you about this instrument. This sarod is not so old like sitar or veena. The root is from different country. It's in the lute section instruments, which has come from Middle Eastern root. So the great musicians, the master musicians, instrumentalists, they tried to incorporate the instrument to make it happen with all the nuances which are needed for our classical music. So they have changed all the shapes of the instrument, the instrumental techniques, and the plates and strings, everything they changed. And what is seen now, this is the modern version of sarod, which has been continuing since last 60, 70 years. And now Sarod has been so popular throughout the world for one or two great musicians like Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Sahab, Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Sahab. Mainly these two have become the real iconic figure of Sarod for those who the Sarod has become so popular. And now we are trying to propagate this art through this instrument. So that's the thing. That's it.
How many hours of practice as a young boy of 10 or 12 is needed to really shine in this particular field?
Listen, this instrument is not a very easy instrument, because, as I have told, that this instrument is a fretless instrument, not like sitar or guitar. So one has to have the sense of soothe. The ear is the main judge for taking the decisions where he is going to put the right position for putting the string, putting the fingers on the notes. So one has to have a little sense of music. Number one. Number two is the practice. Initially, it is needed for at least 3 to 4 hours. So it is not very difficult to take out 3 to 4 hours for a beginner at the age of 8, 10, 12, because only all the things are like the time management, you know. So 3 to 4 hours are good enough to start with. And after that, to reach to a particular position of playing, of the technical virtuosity, one needs to have at least 8 to 10 hours practice afterwards.
And what is the future of these musicians who take up these kind of things, because they have to, devote their life completely towards the instrument, in terms of the earning capacity and livelihood in this country, especially? Do you think that there is a future for this kind of, though this is a very rare kind of an art, it is not something which every second person can play or chooses, just like sitar or probably tabla. This is a very rare kind of an instrument.
No, not really. Now, lots of instrument, lots of young sarod players are coming up. But there are 3, 4 avenues of earning. In terms of earning, the excellence are not like can't be like mass. Out of 10, maybe 1 or 2 might come. So there are different avenues of earning. I know so many. In fact, this pandemic has taught us a lot. I know lots of musicians who are earning at least 2 to 3 lakhs per month by online classes. Can you believe that? Only online classes. Globally, they are teaching. So they don't need anything for performance or anything else. So I know lots of good teachers who are not at all popular enough to get their concerts, public concerts. But there are also other avenues, like in the commercial industries, in the modern songs, modern films, the background scores and the as the session musicians, they can involve themselves. A lot of my students are involved also. So they earn not less than 1 to 1.5 lakhs per month. So, but this is not the kind of one is going to be in IIT and his job is secured. It's not like that, because this is completely freelance. There are 2, 3 avenues for utilizing this music, learning music. Also, it is being taught in the universities. They can educate themselves with the degrees like masters and PhD. They can get the job in the good universities and in the central and state universities. Though those seats are not able enough, not very much educated enough to accommodate all the musicians. So what we need to have, the scopes of the service and scopes of the involving these musicians should be raised, and then it will be more.
Have you launched any kind of a certification program yourself, being now one of the legends of the instrument?
Certification programs there are lots of the universities, and also there are some organizations in India. That is not very much important. The important is for the performance level, definitely the competitions. There are lots of competitions going on, and from my organization, we have had the global competition, and we have given the certificates, and a lot of those the champions, they are getting lots of great scopes in different organizations. So that we are doing, but certificates
from a training perspective.
Sorry?
From a training, because see, Panditji, you came from a musical family.
Training purpose, the training perspectives, yeah, most of the cases, they are they definitely would like to get the training from a reputed organization or reputed guru. Definitely, this has got nothing to do with just getting one certificate from the guru. It's a kind of, the kind of vouching that he is the disciple of such and such Pandit or Ustad or
See, how do
someone.
you, I mean, see, suppose somebody is staying in a small place may not have access to Pandit Tejendra Narayan Majumdar, but he wants to learn Sarod. Now, what is the process he or she can take up?
Definitely, he can join in my online class, and also, but though I don't believe the online class for everybody, because as long as the advancement is on, in the beginning, one has to learn from guru, because that's how actually our system is, guru shishya parampara. Because this is not the kind of music that whatever I am just showing in online, uh, they will adapt it. The guru has to put his finger on the right place. The guru has to show how the right hand position will be on the drum.
So, Panditji, do you people, undertake, because this is something which I have not discussed with any of the earlier speakers from the classical or the Shastriya Sangeet fraternity.
Yeah.
Today, this is cropped up with you because I'm discussing this with you. See, if this art has to survive, people have to take this up. Now, if people have to take this up in this country, even if people want, they don't have access to, like you people had, to the best of ustads, because you came from a musical family. Now,
No,
how does
I came from musical family. That doesn't mean that all the musicians who are performing, they came from musical family. But now the prospect and the possibilities are much more higher than what you used to have. We didn't have it. We were not allowed to use even the tape recorders. We had to learn by just listening, just everything putting in here and here and here. But nowadays, the students come, they have the opportunity to check the video recording, and also on online, and then in the written form, everything is going to be preserved. So there are lots of other means also. The
suppose the students
when the
are willing,
students come,
students are willing to engage and interact and have some workshops. So are you people also engaged in taking up workshops in various
yes,
places?
yes, yes, yes. I do the workshops, and in fact, I am also associated with uh, in freelance way. Actually, I am also associated with Sangeet Research Academy. They have also approached me for taking the workshops. I do take for the other organizations also. I am also the expert committee member of Rajya Sangeet Academy Government of West Bengal, and I am the Sangeet Natak Academy Award winner. So I am also in the panel of the panel of judges and recommenders. So these are the things actually. Definitely, the students definitely can have they can they can have this availability, and
Suppose a kid is 10, 12-year-old kid, he wishes to have one workshop, and they have very limited time amidst their studies. They don't want to devote full time. They get a vacation time, summer vacation, winter vacation, and they want to engage and learn from Pandit Tejendra Narayan Majumdar for 1 month. What is the kind of opportunity or scope that these kind of kids can have?
no, but one thing is very important, that we don't. I personally, I think that this is not the kind of art. It's like just for summer vacation, he will be learning, and then he will quit the instrument, and he will wait. The guru will wait, or the student will wait for getting the other vacation, and then he will touch the instrument. That is not not the question of learning. So I don't encourage in that way. If somebody is serious, if the parents are serious, I know lots of parents are very serious, and they are also trying to think for their kids to take this as the profession. A lot of other kids who are being groomed by me, they are doing very good. And in fact, let me tell you, I am also the senior guru of NCPA, National Center for Performing Arts, Bombay, Tata. And they have selected 3 of my students. They were getting the scholarships. So those are on. So I am associated with other organizations too, who are providing this great opportunity to learn from me or the or other big names or the gurus. So, but one thing, Amitji, is very important, that it is not educated. So we need to have the you know uh, presenters and the sponsors and the people who really care for this earth. They want to keep this tradition alive. We need to have the people like you who would be really coming forward to help this. And I know that lots of good organizations, they are trying to promote this art, like Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, they always try to do. And there are some other organizations too. I don't want to take only the few names. There are lots of, but those are not adequate enough. I am also trying to get some interested person. I am also in search of a big project for making an academy. I was asked to do that, but I am not getting that much confidence that I would be taking out that much of time and energy. At the same time, this has to be very fruitful. You know, I am still yet to get that kind of people who would be really, with me for doing everything. So these are the.
Who are the legends you performed with?
I have performed with Zakir Hussain, Kishan Maharaj, uh, Shankar Ghosh, Pandit Sapan Chaudhary, Anindya Charity, Pandit Kumar Ghosh, Vikram Ghosh, Tanmay Ghosh, uh, you name any name, everybody has performed with me. For tabla, and also I have performed Jugalbandi and collaborative works with Shahid Parvez, Shujat Khan, uh, and Rashid Khan, Ajay Chakraborty, and then Trilok Gutu, Louis Banks in fusion collaborative concerts, Rajan Shajan Mishra, and who else? Trilok Gutu and who else?
South Indian Carnatic music.
Oh, there are lots of. Yeah, Shashank Subramaniam, Ganesh and Kumresh, Raja Gopalan, Mysore Manjunath, Ravi Kiran, then who else? Uh, yeah, almost covered all the. Oh,
Did you get a chance to work?
Dr.
Balamuri Krishnan.
Balmurali Krishna ji, L. Subramaniam. I have performed with everybody.
It's a pleasure talking to you, Pandit Tejendra Narayan Majumdar. I think you are somebody, people like you are responsible for India's, culture and tradition being alive. And to make it kicking, we need seriously more support and consideration and, more proactive patronizing from the corporate world and the government of India. I'm sure this particular engagement with you today will hold the entire industry in good stead when it comes to pushing the initiatives that people like you desire for the art, the great unparalleled culture and strength of India, that is classical music, to really achieve its potential in the current era, which probably it used to when we used to have the greats like Akbar Ali Khan and all these people hundreds of years back and thousands of years back. Even the courtrooms of the great Maharajas used to be decorated with only these musicians like Tansen, who used to, turn the course of nature. So let's hope for the best and look forward to meeting you again, Pandit ji. Jai Hind.
Yeah. Thank you, ji. Namaste.